Every gambler knows that the secret to surviving.
I don't wanna take advice from fools.
You always won every time you placed a bet.
Money, that's what I want.
Welcome to the preseason primer. I'm Joe Duffy of OffshoreInsiders.com. Yeah, the old tailgate party, which we began on the Score Phone days. I used to do it on NFL Sundays. Another guy called himself Chris at the time, journeyman handicapper, still in the industry, calls himself Oscar. So this broadcast goes back a long time, way before the internet. And, of course, brought to you by OffshoreInsiders.com, where you can get my picks, Joe Duffy's picks, 601 and 462, off of a fantastic night again last night. 4-1 overall. We've got 2 Major League Baseball winners, and we've got 3 Wise Guy plays in all. We have a nighttime Wise Guy play in Major League Baseball, and it's all at OffshoreInsiders.com. All right, let's take a look at some news and notes that we've been able to compile for you tonight. And if you got any questions, feel free to do it. It looks like it is working as far as me being able to see your messages. I think I got to put on the Facebook on a different computer, but I got all kinds of computers here. So we're going to have all kinds of great information before the night is out, including some sharp moves, the biggest line moves, etc. Panthers and the Bills. A lot of you love quarterback battles. Bills' 7th overall pick, Josh Allen. He is going to be in a clash with A.J. McCarron and Nathan Peterman for the starting job. It's very clear that eventually the intention is for Josh Allen to take over, but any one of these 3 guys could be starting on opening day, and especially Nathan Peterman, who didn't really look all that impressive last year. He's very interesting because he's not only going to be battling for a starting spot, but if he doesn't play well, he may not have a job. And there you can see it, mybookie.ag, one of the many sports books, well, not one of the many, one of about half dozen sports books that we recommend at OffshoreInsiders.com. Buffalo is 3, with a total of 34.5 in that game. And if you set up an account at mybookie.ag and you use the promo code Duffy, you're showing support for this free information. Take a look at Chicago and Cincinnati. The game is mybookie.ag, has it as a pick with a total of 36. The Bears do, of course, have a game under their belt. They played in that Hall of Fame game. Of course, they have head coach Matt Nagy is breaking in a new offense. Now, that's one of the things that most sharps believe when a team is breaking in a new offense or a new defense, that they could be less vanilla. I know a lot of squares will think, well, that's kind of bad if they're breaking in a new offense, that maybe they're going to struggle early. But no, if anything, teams do tend to try to be, a little bit, I think, more adventurous on that. And all right, I just wanted to make sure the audio was working. There, you heard myself in the background. Audio is working great, just as it does say. But no, I think if anything, Chicago, they might be slightly less vanilla because they are trying to break in a new offense. And quarterback Mitch Trubisky, who did not play in the Hall of Fame game, should be making his debut tonight. And remember, Trubisky, he really has to learn this offense. So don't be surprised if Chicago is slightly less vanilla than teams are in the first week of the preseason. But in the case of the Bears, they do have a game under their belt. Now, way back in the day, I know that people used to love to bet on teams that played in the Hall of Fame game. They would love to bet on them in the second game, the theory being the biggest improvement that teams make are from week 1 to week 2. So keep that in mind for those of you who do believe in that theory. Tampa Bay and Miami. Miami is 2.5 with a total of 34.5. And again, we'll take a look at some of the bigger line moves before this report's out, as well as some sharp moves as well. Miami's starting quarterback Ryan Tannehill is expected to get his first playing time since December of 2016. Sat out last year with a torn ACL. Pretty good system here when two non-playoff teams meet in the preseason, and it's gone under at a 67-31 rate since 2014. Now, this is not actually a premium pick of ours, but a free pick. We're going to give you at least one free pick on all of our tailgate reports, unless it's on a night where we're committed to doing this every single Sunday during the regular season at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. If you want us to do it on Saturdays and Friday nights, Thursday night football, please give us a like and set up an account at mybookie.ag using the promo code Duffy, and they'll be happy to sponsor these broadcasts. But we're committed to doing it every Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, and hopefully you will demand that we do it on a even more regular basis, including Saturday, and we'll be more than happy to do. But when we have the full slates, we'll definitely give you at least one free pick, and your free pick here is to go with that game under Tampa Bay and Miami because of that very nice system. The Browns and the Giants. Cleveland is one with a total of 35. By the way, this is the biggest line move. We'll go over the line moves at the end of this report. A couple other fairly significant line moves, but this is the biggest one. You know, with the new GM John Dorsey making a lot of roster moves, sharps do believe that the Browns have a lot more sense of urgency, and that's the main reason. You know, when you try to handicap which team's going to have more of a sense of urgency, it doesn't seem to be much doubt here that the Cleveland Browns are really the team that does have the most sense of urgency, and that's why a lot of sharps are betting on them in this contest. You know, and my understanding is a lot of money went down at Bet Chris, which is a big offshore sports book. So, you know, that's a big line move indeed, but that's the reason for that. Top pick in the draft, quarterback Baker Mayfield does make his debut for Cleveland tonight. Reports have said he's looked very good in training camp. And in fact, headlines an impressive list of rookies. So Cleveland, yeah, the perennial laughingstock, they do have a really good rookie class. And there are a lot of people who think they could be one of the most improved teams. You want to bet at mybookie.ag, one of the futures bets. I know some people, some sharp money is on betting them over the total for the season wins. Giants, conversely, and this is kind of another sign of which team is putting a lot more emphasis on this game. Looks like Giants top pick running back Saquon Barkley will see very little, if any, playing time. Both teams are breaking in new offenses. Again, that can often mean less vanilla for those of you who want to bet the totals. The Browns, now here's kind of an interesting statistic, and I could see how this could be considered significant because it's all about, you know, distractions and then the public perception, etc. So some of you, look, I take the I'll report, you decide during these tailgate parties, but the Browns were featured on Hard Knocks. Such teams are 16-27 in the NFL preseason since Hard Knocks started. So yeah, the theory being that it's good to bet against the team on Hard Knocks. Maybe there's some distractions, maybe because they're featured, you know, they might be a little bit of a public team, and some people are going to think that because they're on Hard Knocks that they might have a little more sense of urgency. A Giants star wide receiver Odell Beckham is out. No surprise there, but once that was confirmed, that also had to do with the line move. And again, I'm going to have line moves plus public betting trends a little bit later on in this report. The battle of the state of Pennsylvania, the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Philadelphia Eagles. MyBookie.ag, where you get a 50% sign-up bonus if you use the promo code Duffy, D-U-F-F-Y. Philadelphia is 3 with a total of 34. Philadelphia's top two quarterbacks, Nick Foles and Carson Wentz, both are be sitting out here. Look for their third stringer, Nate Sudfeld. He's shown some great promise. He will get a majority of the snaps. Joe Callahan, who's the fourth string quarterback, will follow. Neither quarterback has much regular season experience, but, you know, Philadelphia, don't outsmart yourself. Philadelphia is pretty good at the quarterback position here as far as some young talent. Now, not surprisingly, the Steelers also, nobody significant is going to play. Antonio Brown, Ben Roethlisberger are out, in addition to some other starters, Bud Dupree, T.J. Watt, Vance McDonald. Steelers aren't going to be having any other star players here. Neither will Philadelphia. Now, again, Pittsburgh has a new offensive coordinator in Rodney Fitchner. So, again, maybe could be a little bit less vanilla. Look for 3 other quarterbacks led by Joshua Dobbs, I should say, and rookie third-rounder Mason Rudolph to play. So, yeah, there is, when we talk about quarterback battles that people are interested in, it's not always for starting quarterback. And, like I said, the public in general loves betting on these, the big quarterback battles, but not just for starting quarterback, but also for backup and third string. There's clearly no starting job open, but for backup and third string, certainly the Steelers do have that. The Saints and the Jaguars. Jacksonville is -2 with a total of 34.5 at mybookie.ag, where you use that promo code Duffy and show your support for our podcast, our simulcast, especially if you want us to do this on Saturdays and Mondays and Thursdays. Like I said, every Sunday during the regular season, 10 a.m. Eastern Time live. Jaguars have a lot of players battling for their number 2. The Saints have a lot of players battling for the number 2 wide receiver spot. A backup quarterback battle for the Jaguars with Cody Kessler and Tanner Lee, because both of those guys suck. And that's something that we've discussed in other videos, that, it's when quality guys are battling for a spot. And I'm not so sure Jacksonville has much quality at the backup position. Of course, whether or not they do at the starting position at quarterback, that's another story altogether as well. The Rams and the Ravens, as you can see, the Ravens are laying 3 with a total of 36. Defensive Player of the Year, Sam Darnold, is a holdout for the Rams. Not that he would have gotten much playing time in this anyway, if at all. Mark Barron, who started 30 games at linebacker the last 2 years, is out. So the Rams are very thin up the middle of the defense. And I've never been a big live bettor, to be honest with you. I think there are some sports books that will let you bet on some live stuff in the preseason and halftime lines. So keep that in mind, that the Rams, when they get to that third string, they're going to be very weak up the middle. Ravens quarterback Joe Flacco says he's going to play. He's actually looked impressive in camp. And remember, he's being pushed by Lamar Jackson. Nobody expects Lamar Jackson, who the Ravens, of course, also played in the Hall of Fame game, by the way, for those of you who really like betting on teams that already have a game under their belt. Jackson didn't look all that impressive. He was okay in the Hall of Fame game, so don't expect a quarterback controversy here yet. But Flacco has looked very impressive, and there are people who think that, he feels threatened. He knows that he's going to be pushed for that job eventually. And that might be something to consider, to say the least. The playoff teams, as an away dog, are 134 and 111 in the preseason when facing a non-playoff team, or 92 and 63. That favors the Rams. Now, that may or may not be counterintuitive, but I do think that the public at times always thinks that the inferior team, especially in week 1 and week 2, is going to be much more motivated, that the non-playoff team, it means more to them. And the truth is, playoff teams playing non-playoff teams are actually a pretty good bet in the postseason. The Redskins and the Patriots, New England is laying 2.5 with a total of 37.5. And some of the notes that we do have on that game. And remember, offshoreinsiders.com not only has Joe Duffy's picks, but the Master Lock Line as well. Master Lock Line, highest rated plays from the highest rated services in their highest rated sports, and a ton of big plays on the Master Lock Line tonight. Skins wide receiver Jamison Crowder is out. He had 66 catches last year. New England is very thin at wide receiver. Redskins do have a pretty big battle at running back. Jay Gruden might keep as many as 5 running backs on the roster. So look for Washington to maybe be a little ground heavy tonight. And, Patriots, though, also. We're hearing that the Patriots are also going to run the ball a lot tonight. So might see a very high percentage of runs tonight, according to some of the stuff that we've been told. The Titans and the Packers. Green Bay is 1 with a total of 34.5. And look for Aaron Rodgers, of course, is going to sit out. Brett Hundley and Deshaun Kaiser, a big clash for the number 2 quarterback. Kaiser has not looked impressive so far in training camp. And, of course, he showed some brief flashes last year with Cleveland, but really wasn't all that impressive. So does I don't know. Again, these are two guys that are quite questionable, battling for that backup spot. So, you know, sharps would say that would be a good reason to bet against Green Bay. No key offensive players will suit up for Green Bay. For the Titans, though, starting quarterback Marcus Mariota will play. And this might be a little bit more than just get some work. This isn't, you know, just to get some work in. He's been working with their new offense coordinator, Matt LaFleur, on his footwork in the offseason. So it might be a little bit more of that sense of urgency for the Titans, and that's why they're a very small underdog on the road. Texans and the Chiefs, as you can see, Kansas City's 2.5, total 34.5. MyBookie.ag with the promo code of Duffy. Texans franchise quarterback Deshaun Watson is probable. There's a three-way battle for the backup, but again, three crap quarterbacks. Brandon Weeden, what the heck? He cannot still be in the NFL. Joe Webb, yeah, he's still in the NFL. And Stephen Morris, who is, you know, a decent college quarterback, but you might say an unimpressive battle for the backup quarterback situation. Considering Deshaun Watson's coming off of an injury, you know, that's pretty important. And let me say, all right, like I said, we're just using this new software. Yes, CM Picks, somebody called CM Picks 282, who is watching us on Periscope, says, give me some locks. Well, we did give you a free pick. And if you haven't, you know, if you didn't get our free pick earlier, make sure that you do listen. You can get this on demand on Periscope where you're watching, or YouTube, or whatnot. So, yeah, do thank you for those comments. And it looks like if anyone sending me a message on Facebook, I think I got to have that on another computer, but I do have my Facebook feed on another computer. So feel free to ask any questions, but we're going to cover every single game. But yeah, CM Picks, we do have some. We have a free pick on this, and that at offshoreinsiders.com, the strongest play in the industry. Now, mind you, we don't really, okay, maybe we use the term lock sometimes for marketing reasons. We do know, you know, when you do your SEO studying, that people look up things like football locks. I'm not going to say we never use the term lock because it helps us show up in search engines a little bit better. But there is no such thing as a true lock. In fact, at offshoreinsiders.com, at Joe Duffy's Picks, wise guy plays are your maximum bet. Major plays are 0.75 your maximum bet. So you bet $1,000 on a wise guy, $750 on a major play. There is no such thing as a true lock, and discipline is very important, you know, when it comes to betting for sure. Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes is expected to play about a quarter. He had his ups and downs in training camp. Remember, he is supposed to be the franchise quarterback. Andy Reid, let's give him credit. He knows his quarterbacks. So Andy Reid thinks that Mahomes is going to be the franchise quarterback, but he has not looked impressive. But Andy is probably going to play his starters as much as anybody is in the preseason. Wide receiver Sammy Watkins, who's never quite lived up to his talent, but he is out for Kansas City. Cowboys and the 49ers. This is on NFL Network. By the way, this is one of Joe Duffy's picks. We have 4 NFL picks for tonight, plus a Major League Baseball wise guy play. The record's absurd. One of the picks is tonight, in fact, a wise guy on the Cowboys 49ers. Cowboys do lack talent at wide receiver. And they've had some injuries, so they're very thin at the wide receiver position. But conversely, the thought is, from some sharps I spoke to, they think they're going to air it out because they got to have somebody establish himself. Remember, preseason's not necessarily about going with your strengths, but about, you know, addressing those weaknesses and going with guys who are battling for the position. So don't be surprised if the Cowboys toss the ball in the air tonight to try to have some guys establish themselves. Richard Sherman, one of the big name off-season signees by the 49ers, will not play. Jason Garrett, though, Cowboys head coach, a good guy to bet against in the preseason. 10-17 in the NFL preseason against the spread. And there you can see San Fran is 4-35 at mybookie.ag. Again, maximum bonus, biggest bonus in the industry. You'll get paid on time. They pay everybody on time. Been in this business 30 years. I am not going to screw up my reputation by sending you to a bad sports book. Marcus, yes, the free picks, it'll be available on demand. I see a lot of comments coming from Periscope. Appreciate that. The free picks, they're on this report. Make sure you watch the entire report, and you go back either on, we'll go back on, all right, we'll give you the free pick a little bit earlier. We're getting a lot of people ask for the free pick. We gave a great system on the Buccaneers and the Dolphins to go under the total was the free pick. There we go. But all right, nice to see some action, though, there on Periscope. And if you do have any other questions from elsewhere, I think we got some messages before from YouTube. That's working. And Facebook, whatever. I won't bore you with the details, but for now, our programmer, well, the guy, not our programmer, the guy who writes the software is working with Facebook. But I do have Facebook on another screen. And if you think I'm ignoring your questions on Facebook, I'm not. Maybe I can't see them, but I'll check it afterwards. But yeah, we'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you have. And I think, there we go. Free picks. Well, we gave you the free pick. Still learning some new features in this software. So here are some of the various comments. And, I'm very honored that we do have a lot of people watching us on Periscope. We started this on Facebook Live, but yeah, I think, a lot of our viewers on Periscope, a lot of our viewers on YouTube, etc. All right, the Cowboys and the 49ers. So yeah, Jason Garrett has been a good go against. The Seahawks, and by the way, our best picks, though, are at offshoreinsiders.com. The Seahawks and the Colts, Seattle wide receiver Doug Baldwin is out. That's key. Not that they would necessarily be playing him if he were healthy, but he had 443 catches in 7 seasons, including 75 or more each of the last 3 years. Now, here is maybe the biggest story of them all, and probably the most intriguing, from both, I think, a gambling standpoint and just a football standpoint. And guys, again, continue to give us support. Those of you who are asking for the free picks, set up an account at mybookie.ag. Even just deposit $100. Use that promo code Duffy, DUFFY. That'll get us to have them sponsor, some stuff for Saturdays and whatnot. And we'll give even more free picks on those bigger cards. And yeah, I'm getting a text from my son wanting me to pick them up. All right, well, we still got a couple minutes left in this broadcast. But, yes, Seattle is trying to establish a running game, to say the least. And, they're definitely going to be doing that tonight. Chris Carson has looked good coming off an injury. First-round pick Rashad Perry. Since winning the job, Russell Wilson has never exceeded 6 passes in the preseason. And quarterback Andrew Luck is what we're saying. That is really the biggest story of them all. Andrew Luck is going to be making his debut tonight. And to say the least, that is quite big indeed. So Andrew Luck will be making his debut tonight. He's looked pretty good, and I wouldn't be surprised if we do see him testing a little bit, throwing downfield. I'll take a look at some early news and notes for games of Friday and Saturday. First of all, and let's see if there have been any big changes. Here are the biggest line moves that I have for tonight. The Giants open up as a 3-point favorite. They're now a 1-point underdog. So Cleveland now the favorite. We discussed earlier in this report why that is. If you didn't hear it, well, you should have, actually. You should have listened to this entire report, to say the least, because we explained why that is. Bengals open up as a 2.5-point favorite against Chicago. That game's now a pick. Jets went from a 1-point favorite to a 3.5-point favorite against Atlanta. And Buffalo from a 1 to a 3-point favorite against Carolina. Baltimore from a 1 to a 3-point favorite. And New England. That was Baltimore against the Rams. New England from a 2.5-point favorite to a 4.5-point. I'm sorry. New England from a 4.5-point favorite down to a 2.5-point favorite. All right, now we got some sharp moves for you. And let me see. Let's arrange it in the correct order. we want to have this live information right. On Seattle, Indianapolis, 69% of the actual bets are on Seattle, yet 66% of the money is on the Indianapolis Colts. That's a game for tomorrow. One of the biggest moves is for a game Friday. We'll be here briefly tomorrow, 5 Eastern Time. Won't have as much to discuss, and we'll talk more about that. For Detroit, 57% of the bets are on Detroit, but 57% of the money is on Oakland. All right, some notes for the next couple days. Falcons and the Jets. Josh McCown is not expected to play. He's technically the #1 quarterback. Teddy Bridgewater has looked good in training camp. He's going to play for the first time in a couple years. And for the Chargers and the Cardinals, quarterback Sam Bradford will play for the Cardinals. All 4 quarterbacks expected to get some playing time. All right, I do thanks all of you who did join us live. Again, if you want more of this, set up an account at mybookie.ag. You will get paid on time, to say the least. You're going to get paid on time. That is not a problem. And it shows your support for the free information if you use the promo code Duffy. Most importantly, again, all right, maybe from a marketing standpoint, I've used the term lock on the website because I know it does well in search engines. But CM Picks are asking for some locks. A couple other people asking for some locks. No such thing as a true lock, but as close as you're going to come. Joe Duffy's picks at offshoreinsiders.com is the place to go for the single strongest play in the handicapping industry. You've got a huge portfolio for tonight. As you can see, we have been red hot. 601 and 462 since last preseason, all sports combined for NFL. One of the Major League Baseball was today, but you've got 3 wise guy plays for tonight, 2 in the NFL, 1 in Major League Baseball, and it's all at offshoreinsiders.com.